Now, on Enough Said, with K-Fans Dan Barrero.
You want Butler? We need Ben Simmons. Well, obviously, Philly's not going to do that.
Probably not.
And so the question is now, is Tibbs rigging this?
And Justin Guard.
What is the mainstream media going to do when Donald Trump is not president?
What are we all going to do?
Honest to God.
What's this show going to do?
It's that kind
Enough Said.
Hard-fought game. Give the Rams a lot of credit. They did some very good things. We didn't play well enough defensively, especially in the passing game.
I mean, it's high. We're not this bunch of guys, this coaching staff. We're not used to losing. So we got to get into gear. That's all there is to it. Nobody's going to fix it but us.
Welcome back. Enough Said is back. Dan Barrero and Justin Guard to break down the devastating loss. I know Lori Fisher has.
She looks very sad.
You stayed with it,
every
but
minute
you have
of
not
it.
recovered yet, I don't believe.
You have to admit it was fun to watch, but disappointing. Every time we did something good, then the Rams did something better. The Vikings now 1-2-1. The Eagles are up next, and we know how the last time we saw them ended as well. Can the Vikings fix their defense, Dan?
I don't know. I mean, if you're the funniest thing about this, if there's anything funny about it, if you're a Vikings fan, is that Kirk Cousins has to be saying, is the Washington Monument right down the street? Have I even left Washington? Because I remember this kind of defense, and I thought I was leaving that to go to a team that had this polished, established, veteran defense run by one of the great chess master defensive minds
of all time
in history.
Yeah.
And is it not fair to start with the fact that our chess master got
It was
basically
checkmate last night, yeah.
Any scheme that renders the guy you just saw, Harrison Smith, invisible. I don't think we ever even heard from him.
I was just glad to know that was actually him because I didn't know if he made the trip, so I'm glad he was actually there.
Makes your guy Barr as vulnerable as he appeared trying to cover wide receivers when he's obviously not equipped to do that, means that you've been out schemed very, very badly. So suddenly we have a team that we all said, you get to 24? Undefeated.
No problem, yeah.
And now we're a team that we got to get in shootouts, and we're just going to have to outscore them because this defense is officially stripped of all of its luster, all of its intimidation factor, as we probably should have figured out by what happened against Buffalo the week before.
As Zimmer said, I don't think in my time anywhere have we been this poor against the pass. It is weird to watch, and they have gone from a defense that's completely owned games and dominated games where they were the strength of the team. Now the last couple of weeks, leave Buffalo out of it because that was a disaster, but against Green Bay and against L.A., it's can they just get one stop so the Vikings can get the ball back in a reasonable amount of time so that they can perhaps score? They did get the stop finally last night, and we saw that Cousins fumbled it. But it is amazing. I know that Anthony Barr is getting a lot of criticism, as he probably should, right? He has been up and down throughout his career. But at some point, the coach has to take a look at it and go, why am I asking this person to do something that maybe I think he could do and maybe he's done in the past, but is not up to it at this point? Why am I continually asking this guy to do something that he can't?
Is he doing anything well at this point? To
Not
me, it
really.
looks like he's half speed some of the time. Maybe he's confused about where he's supposed to be. And by the way, you mentioned it. Vikings did get the ball back. And what happened? Cousins fumbled, and I'm not going to put this one on him like the week before because he's in the motion. It's coming from behind. He's got to throw.
Yep.
But I'm reminded again at just a huge deficiency this defense has beyond stopping people is that we got to have a parade whenever we get a damn takeaway.
Right.
And we saw, and the Rams, by the way, are one of the great takeaway teams in recent memory. It's a powerful part of good defense. Even when we were playing well, we weren't good at it. We have to get better. I don't know what you do, but we have to get better at it because you can see how it changed.
Everything.
We were driving.
Yes.
Say we. It's Lori's team. But now she's got me doing it. But in all honesty, I don't think it's impossible that they might have been able to get the tying score.
Why not?
But
Cousins was playing great.
Exactly. So how do you equalize that as a defense where you make those kinds of those are devastating plays to an offense, and we don't make them often enough.
2 units in crisis, defense, everything, and offensive line at key points still an issue.
We protected better, I thought, than I expected.
At key moments, Aaron Donald acted like nobody was even there, including the sack.
You didn't rip Prefer. You usually get a special teams cheap shot in there.
We didn't see enough.
We almost
field
got
goal kicker.
Yeah, but we almost got 2 punts.
Hit the upright. Hit the upright.
I'm all in with the Vikings, good or bad.
You're hanging in.
FYI.
I don't.
Very loyal.
You're off.
So next up,
Mike Zimmer's not going to co-host the show like Lindsay Whalen, Cheryl Reeve. Yeah, she's not going to answer your texts.
Never.
Yeah.
Next up, the Vikings are also dealing with Everson Griffin's well-being after some disturbances detailed in some police reports last weekend. Griffin posted a statement on Instagram right there saying in part, "I'm currently focused on resolving personal issues with which I have been dealing with for a long time. I promise, however, I will return as a much improved person and player." Griffin is in his 9th season with the Vikings and a big part of the team's defense. Justin?
Well, he is. I think we've seen even going back to last season, when he was injured, what was it, the London game?
Slowed him down.
The defense really wasn't the same after that. We saw what a pass rush can do and all the messes they're having defensively. Yeah, a lot of it has to do probably with the fact that Everson Griffin has not been available, and it will be interesting to see, because everybody right now, I think, is thinking the obvious. Let's make sure that Everson's fine. And it's nice to hear from him. Mike Zimmer said on Friday in the teleconference, he's not going to be back this upcoming week. We have no idea when he's coming back, right?
No, I don't think we do. I don't think any of us should expect it's within 2 weeks.
I don't think so either, and I really don't think it should be
this season.
Will it be? It will be interesting, though, the vibe and the patience that people have shown with him right now. It'll be interesting to see if they keep having these terrible defensive performances. Like, well, what's going on with Everson? But for right now, I think everybody's focusing on what they should be.
Well, and they have to.
It's obvious.
True, but at some point, then, if he's not going to be around, we allegedly have enough really good defensive talent, and other pass rushers that were just in waiting, that it can't. That Zim can't allow that to be the signal that, well, that's it.
Right.
We're done. It's a loss. But some of the breakdowns here to me go beyond him. And in terms of where he's at, I mean, he has often been candid about difficulties in the past in terms of basically feeling defeated by himself and his approach. There's obviously a significant psychological issue here that they're working through at this point. I do think we would be remiss. We're making this all about Griffin, and I get why. But I think we have to give some thought to his family that's in the middle of this, that obviously there was a great deal of stress on them as well as a result. And even the individuals who apparently had to listen to him threaten them at a hotel. And so now, what's the source of his rage or what put him there? I think everybody has a willingness to say, well, let's find out what that is, and hopefully he can work with that. But let's not forget that there were some scary things that happened to other people that I still think should be, just because they're nameless and faceless, they should be very much part of the equation.
Enough said. Next up, the Timberwolves' Jimmy Butler drama continues. You guys talked about it a week ago. It's still ongoing. Several rumors as to where he wants to go. We just know he doesn't want to be here. Meanwhile, center Karl Anthony Towns signed a multi-year contract extension. How and when will all this drama surrounding Jimmy Butler end? Dan?
Well, Jimmy Butler might be soon. With the Timberwolves, never.
No.
Right? In the history of the 30 years of the franchise.
It's never stopped, so why would it stop now?
It started in 89, and it's gone right into 2018.
Well, here's the new conspiracy theory. The new conspiracy theory, and I don't know how true this is, because it's hard to know how much of this leakage is legit and how much of it is to try to put pressure on the Wolves to basically hand Butler over for nothing, is that he's going to teams like Philly, and they're asking for, who's the big guard?
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. They're basically saying, you want Butler? We need Ben Simmons. Well, obviously, Philly's not going to do that.
Probably not.
And so the question is now, is Tibbs rigging this in a way that it is going to be literally impossible for Butler to be traded because he doesn't really deep down want to trade him? If that's the answer, then to me that's fireable, and that's where your owner, as much as I hate owners getting involved, to me, Taylor would have to be involved. I don't know that that's true. And I still think people are expecting this to be done, including Jimmy Butler. Very immature about expecting it to be done in 15 minutes. These things take time, especially if it ends up involving a third team.
Especially if it's a week before the season, when no one's really in trade mode, right? I know it doesn't take long to rev those things up, but everybody was just going to camp with their rosters, and they were all hoping, and now all of a sudden, top 10 players there. The sad part is, and we probably talked about this last week, I know we talked about it on the radio, that Jimmy Butler is the one that looks the worst in all of this. But it doesn't matter.
No.
And that's the weird world of the NBA.
Yeah.
Tibbs is left holding the bag. Poor Glenn Taylor, who's actually tried to do the right thing the last handful of years and hire a big-time coach, hire a good general manager, make a bold move.
He's going to need another 3 good moves to still balance off David Kahn. That's worth the David Kahn move was worth 5 good moves to balance it out minimum. That's how bad
that was. Do you multiply
or
just add the Joe Smith deal that set them back? Is that an exponential deal?
That adds to
but
the
he
quotient,
finally got into, all right, if I'm going to own a team, I'm going to own a team, and I'm going to go get the best coach I can find that a lot of people like. I'm going to make a big-time move for a top 10 player. Now he's sitting there and thinking, man, why did I even do this? I should have just brought in a Minnesotan. I should have just hired Cheryl Reeve and let her do it like people told me. But it doesn't matter that Jimmy Butler looks the worst because in the NBA, the players, especially star players, they rule it all.
Well, here's the irony, too, again, is that I still don't think we realize how much it's going to hurt this team on the court to not have him.
Does Towns and Wiggins realize
Honest to God,
that?
I don't know that they do.
I don't think
He's
so either.
He's a really good player, and I think that's going to be the rude awakening. It's easy to talk in theoretics now because it's still training camp, and everybody looks good in practice, right? So, different deal.
We'll see. Towns, 5 years, 190. Let's hope he earns it.
No longer living. Check.